Hello, everyone. Thanks so much about have all participants here. We are starting the celebration of 3 years of operation of Mars Society Brazil. Also, I am one of the coordinators, also together with Aníbal. Aníbal is also from Brazil too. And it's a great pleasure to have here James Borg, Priscilla Nowojelski, Eleanor Paul, also Alan from Mars Society UK too, and also some friends, some we that will be arriving the next minutes, okay, but we'll be starting out sharing at this moment. Also, a happy birthday to Alan, okay, it's very good have a other birthday
Thank
here
you.
too. And also, I'd like to, the idea is share some actions developed in the chapters of my society, and not only us from Brazil, but also the presentation from James Borg about what will be happening in the next months in the planning of my society, also what is happening in Chile and also United Kingdom. And in the end, also be doing a presentation about my society Brazil, okay? I stop to share my screen, okay, now. But James, you are very welcome to start your conversation with us, okay? Good afternoon to you. Good soul.
Thank you, Julio, and congratulations to the Brazil chapter for your third anniversary. I'm a founding member of the Mars Society, so I've been at this almost 25 years now, and it's really cool to see all the chapters that we have active these days and how vibrant they are and how many amazing projects and outreach opportunities they have. So I think it's really awesome that the Brazil chapter is doing well. And obviously the Habitat Marte is an important project for not only for Brazil, but for the Mars Society overall. You know, the more analogs we have, the better. And I'm just really happy to be here today. And I wanted to share a few thoughts about what the Mars Society is working on and what we hope to do in the next year. As you may know, I'm new to the role of executive director. I was our IT director for the last 10 years, and I was recently hired full-time to be the executive director. And so I'm doing this now. It's my only activity. I was working at Microsoft. I left there. And so now I'm working for Robert Zubrin full-time, and it's really exciting and really a lot of fun so far. So I'm about 3 months into the role. One of the first things that Robert and I decided to do was to start a contest. As we've done contests in the past, you guys may remember we did the Mars Colony Design Contest in 2019, and then we did the Mars City State Contest in 2020. And those were very successful contests because we got a lot of good responses. You know, not only sort of the top 10 to 25 entries that we published in the books that we published, but for each of those two contests, but also just the ground of support and activity that those contests created was really impressive to us. And so we decided to do another contest. And so we call it the Telerobotic Mars Expedition Design Contest. So it's a little bit of a mouthful, but let me kind of break down what that is. The idea is that we're going to send a large robotic mission to Mars using the same size of lander that a human mission would have. So about a 10-ton lander. So if you have a 10-ton lander, what could you put on it for a robotic mission? And this would be designed as a precursor mission to sending humans. So, you know, you could put multiple rovers, multiple drones. You know, we just saw the helicopter, Ingenuity helicopter mission was successful. Maybe you build a full-scale helicopter. So kind of what, you know, the design contest is, what could you put on a 10-ton lander to explore Mars? Where would you go? And what type of science would you try to bring back? And so we announced that contest in January. we're going to get responses back end of June, and then we'll feature those at our conference in October. And what we also hope to do with this is lobby the United States Space Agency, NASA, but also all the other space agencies around the world to do more robotic missions with these designs. And so we hope that we can galvanize robotic exploration further than what it is planned to be right now. Right now in the US, they're focused on sample return. The Perseverance rover has captured a set of samples. Now they need to design missions to return those samples to Earth. Those designs are evolving. There was some news yesterday about them breaking it into 2 different missions to retrieve the samples and launch them back to Earth, or launch them into Mars orbit. And then a 3rd mission would come along, built by ESA, to return the samples from Mars orbit to Earth. And they're looking at kind of all that happening and the samples coming back by the 2030s. So minimum 10 years from now. Well, that's great, and we should return samples from Mars, but that's a really long time frame when you also have the possibility of the SpaceX Starship landing people on Mars before that. And so, so we feel like there's a little bit of a disconnect right now between what NASA is doing and what the reality of Mars exploration is. And so we hope to bridge that gap. So the contest is one important initiative we're going to work on this year. Robert and I also talked about creating some additional initiatives. As you guys know, we have a research station in Utah in the United States called the Mars Desert Station. And that was actually the 2nd research station we built. The first one was in the Arctic in Canada. And those 2 stations represent the beginning of the analog science community. Like, we kind of got things going, the Mars Society did. And now there's analog stations around the world, including Habitat Marte. So we really want to level up what we do in Utah. We want to make some improvements to the station and really make it a world-class facility. And so we'll be announcing soon that we're going to do a large fundraising campaign to raise money for that, to revitalize and expand our Utah station. We also are really interested in doing some educational programs. And so the Mars Society has a legacy of creating K-12 curriculum that we've had. We've also, in the last several years, done outreach activities. Individuals from the Mars Society have gone and talked to classes, elementary school, high school classes. But what we'd like to do is really have a structured education program. And so we'll be announcing soon that we're going to launch a summer program for high schoolers to design a Mars mission. And we'll be doing that as a first step in having a more structured long-term educational program. So, so those are exciting activities. There's a lot more we can do at the Mars Society to inspire people, to inspire young people to pursue science careers, and to galvanize the public to support a Humans to Mars mission. And that's what we hope to do here in the US, internationally. So that's kind of some of the updates I wanted to share. I'm really, again, really glad and thankful to see so many chapters that are active and that are doing really cool things. And keep it up. We definitely need the support around the world, and we'll do whatever we can to help you. But I'm really glad to see that, and I'm really glad that we have the participation of other chapters on this call as well. I think you all are doing really important work. So whatever you need from us, just let us know.
Yes, also we have had some presentations during the Mars Society convention from former members from virtual missions of Habitat Marte, and they are doing very good work and also applying to Mars Society convention. And it's about Mars Society Convention, James, that I have some more questions. This year is very important convention because it's 25th, right? It's very important, I believe. And do you think will be the format will be online or in person or hybrid for this year? Do you have some some news about?
Yeah, I do. We don't have a venue yet. We are working on a couple options here in the United States of where we'll have our conference, but it will be a hybrid event. It
Okay.
will be an in-person event with a virtual component. And so you guys may have seen, we did our conference virtually the last 2 years. It was very, very successful. In 2020, we had 10,000 attendees, and that was up from 400 the previous year when it was in person. And then last year we had about 5,000 attendees. And so, yeah, we definitely want to have a virtual component with what we do moving forward and have the ability for people to attend virtually and ask questions and network with each other virtually. We had some really innovative ways to do that the last 2 years, including using virtual reality.
Okay.
So when we go back to an in-person event this year, it'll be at a major university in the United States, but we will have a pretty substantial virtual component so that people can attend and speak virtually and ask questions, network virtually.
Okay, yeah, it's very interesting. Also, something that I like to say is also to introduce one of my next question. In the last in-person edition of 2019 in University of Southern California in Los Angeles, we
Yes.
had a presentation of Paul Wooster from SpaceX, and he presented the concept, the model, the computational model, how the Starship will be landing on Mars, also the operation, and how your confidence about how your vision about this feasibility about the SpaceX plans. I know in the next weeks they will be doing a very important test of the Starship rocket. What you thought about SpaceX for the next? And congratulations also your mediations in the last year, I believe, with Elon Musk in the event too.
Yeah, I definitely think that SpaceX is doing great work with their Starship and super heavy rockets, and they're getting really close to being able to launch orbitally. And so right now they're waiting for FAA approval. So one of the US federal agencies needs to approve the launch. And we're hoping that they approve that quickly. But yeah, we're very happy about what SpaceX is doing at the Mars Society, because SpaceX's mission is almost identical to ours. Our mission is to send humans to Mars and settle Mars, and SpaceX's mission is to build a self-sustaining city on Mars. So if SpaceX achieves their mission, then so do we. And so, yeah, I know Paul Wooster well. I remember when he was a young man and I was a younger man, and we'd walk around at the second Mars Society conference together talking about things. So yeah, it was great that he participated a couple years ago, and we hope to get his participation again sometime.
Yes, very interesting. I believe it will be very disruptive, right? If they have the possibility to send rockets. I believe this is not feasible, but we need to follow the closeness of the orbits of to the proximity of two planets, right? I believe the window is this year, initial to 26 months, right? And I believe the next opportunity will be 2024. And I believe from now to there, I believe would be have great advance in the plans of SpaceX.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, right now there's really no missions scheduled for the next opportunity, but I hope that changes. Obviously, the Exomars mission has been delayed because of the war in Ukraine, and unfortunately, the collaboration between Europe and Russia on Exomars is not going to happen now. So hopefully, that mission is resurrected somehow. But right now, yeah, there's really not a lot of activity, robotic activity going to Mars, and that's kind of goes back to what I was saying at the beginning of this discussion is, that's what we need to kind of point out to the policymakers around the world, that we need to do more to pave the way for humans to Mars.
Yes, okay, wonderful. Also, if Aníbal, Alan, Eleanor, Priscilla, and Mateus have some questions to James, you are welcome, okay?
Thank you.
Does
Alan?
anyone else have a question?
Let Eleanor go first. No, my thoughts are, I agree with what you're saying, what James is saying about the international cooperation. It's so much needed. And we've got large society groups, the US particularly, but obviously the UK, we think we're growing slowly, and it's been very active the last couple of years. But when we hosted the European Mars Conference in 2019, had people from about 6 or 8 countries, which was really great to see. I mean, it was mostly European, but there was a couple. We actually had Robert Zubrin from the US. He came to our conference and had gave a keynote speech. That was at the launch of the MS UK. But that international collaboration is so much needed, because we've got very powerful and active groups, and then you've got smaller groups and smaller countries. But great ideas can come from somebody from a country that maybe the world has overlooked, and I think it all adds and helps. So I hope that all this international cooperation, obviously sad about the recent events, but we'll overcome that, and I'm sure there'll be lots more happening in the near future. So thank you for what you're doing, and for promoting that worldwide international collaboration for everything to do with Mars. So thank you, James, for that. And to Brazil, of course, as well, for what you're doing in Brazil. Sorry.
Yeah, and Alan, aren't you guys also organizing an analog conference pretty soon?
Yes, well, we're kind of effectively hosting and supporting, but Eleonora and her group have been the main driving force behind providing all the input. Yeah, it's a conference starting on Saturday this coming week. It's called CHASM, CHASM, which is the Conference on Human Analog Space Missions. So it's kind of very linked into what Mars Society UK is doing. And we appreciate Eleonora and Felix and lots of others, folks that have promoted it, have shown great interest, have corralled fantastic European involvement. We've actually got one lady from the US whose name escapes, I'm sure Eleanor, part of them you'll probably know. From,
Shannon Rupert, yeah.
Shannon
Rupert.
Shelley
Shannon
Rupert
Rupert,
from MDRS. Yeah, she's going to be doing a Zoom in, because she was going to come in person, but I think somebody else wasn't able to run the MDRS phase that's coming up shortly, and so she's, as the sort of like co-director, has got to run that. But it'll be great to have her on a Zoom and the input and then the questions and the feedback. So that's happening this weekend. So we're hoping that the CHASM conference, it will be successful in itself, but also part of that jigsaw of engendering and encouraging not just European but worldwide Mars activity and events.
To actually piggyback on this, Alan has been very, very modest. He actually helped quite a lot with CHASM, and the Mars Society UK has. I joined only last year when I met Patrick Rennie, which is the president of Mars Society UK, and then together we've just built CHASM. And I think more than ever, the goal of going to Mars should be one that where we go as humankind and not just as a nation. And I think even now with a war going on, more than ever, we need to secure on Earth the bonds that we have so that we don't make the same mistakes that we made on Earth. And that when we go to Mars, we go there to make a further step, like maybe the next step of evolution, I don't know, but one where really we all join hands and make our efforts together. And I think what Mars Society does in general, all the small hubs everywhere, it's just wonderful because it opens this door to many other people. Before, space was often thought as, it's just engineers, it's just astronauts. I'm myself an astronaut, an engineer, and I would love to be an astronaut. But I also know that, we're going to need everyone for this. And I think, for example, the fact the Mars Society the conference was hybrid, or actually online, and will be hybrid, is amazing because this really allows everyone to access this knowledge and to get to understand better what is actually going on. And we do need people who work in economics, we need people who work as maybe even lawyers, you need to have space laws. Like space laws at the moment, they're just all over the place, right? And people are trying to catch up and speed up and try to find stuff. And yeah, we should have thought of this 10 years ago, So we're going to need all those people because we're going to rebuild basically humanity on Mars. And the best way is by having those Mars societies all over the world, opening the doors, hosting events, hosting analog space mission, fostering robotics, fostering even, hydroponics or things like this. And that's what I think each does, and it's really, really amazing to see. And I mean, the space community is also one of the most wonderful ones. I mean, I love, when you get somewhere and then you meet a space nerd and then you're like, oh my God, we might not have the same job, but we still have the same passion. And we each want to, make the next step, the next world a better place, and one where we all collaborate and all, work for the greater good. I wouldn't say that, but in a certain sense, this is what we're doing. So yeah, thank you, Alan, and thank you also James, and thank you, Julio. Thank you all of you for just being part of this big machinery.
Okay, yes, thanks so much. And I'd like to invite Priscilla to talk about some activities in Chile. Also, we are building a partnership between Brazil and Chile. And Priscilla, you are very welcome.
Thank you, Julio. And of course, I join to the congratulations because 3 years is a lot of time, and we know how difficult it could be to join more people to this type of cause. So it's a great job. And yes, we begin a collaboration a few weeks ago because several of our members in the Chilean chapter begin this training as analog astronauts in Habitat Marte. So we are really, really, really enjoying all these things that are happening. And I want to take the words that Eleanor said, because we also have our chapter mainly works trying to educate also in what not to do in Mars, because we have this history here on Earth, and most of our members and we have several volunteers also, but several of our members and me itself, we are scientists and we are atmospheric scientists. So most of us are very concerned about the climate and the crisis climate we have these years. And of course, this is something that we need to understand, that we don't have to do the same on Mars. And with things that are very specific, maybe hydroponics, as Eleanor says, or how we manage with garbage. This is something crucial also on Mars. We don't want to contaminate every environment and new environment that we want to explore. So this is a very important issue. And we have been doing a lot of education this year. We also have, this year, I think we are going to birth 4 years in the Chilean chapter. And we mainly work as a non-profit organization. We have a lot of people that is following us. We have a community of 5,000 people, not only in Instagram, but also in social media. We had a lot of followers that are working also with us. We had several volunteers. Even most of us work as a volunteer in the Chilean chapter. And we have doing different type of activities. Of course, the pandemic changed everything, and we begin the activities in person, but now we made everything online. And this is great because we also have the opportunity to have people from other parts of the world. Our activities are mainly in Spanish, but now we are doing things and content also in English. We write a lot of articles. We have several interviews. We have a podcast also. It's the Martian community, the society in Spotify. And also the last year, we made our first astrobiology book, and we are very proud of this because it's the first book in Spanish about astrobiology, and it's the first one that also joined not only astronomers and biologists, but also we have geologists, we have biologists, we that mostly of us are planetary scientists, atmospheric scientists. So we tell how the history, how the life on Earth evolved, and how which is its origin, and what is going to happen in other planets. So that's my role, mainly my role, to talk about Mars, to talk about other planets, and to put this seed about the environment, because now we know how important is to not to perturb, to disturb these environments, because the planet itself has its own way to work. So now we know that, and we need to also be aware of that if we are going to other planets. So our chapter have been working a lot in environmental education, also Mars education. We also have one of our members is doing his PhD in Germany with the InSight data. So he's also taking his PhD on that. And the last year, more people joined, more people passionate about Mars join our chapter. And now we have also people from space medicine, architecture. We have even lawyers that are very interested in this type of subject, and it's amazing. It's really amazing. So this, I don't know, for example, to put you as an idea, Chile doesn't even have a space agency. So it's very difficult to talk about this type of subject into an audience that doesn't really believe that this is possible. So these 4 years, I think the first 2 years, we spent most of the time making that people believe in us, believe that this is possible, that we are not searching for green aliens on other planets, that that's a main issue. And with the last IPCC report from, I don't remember, I think last year, a lot of people also ask us, why are we spending money going on Mars if we have so many troubles on Earth? And that is something that we also want to achieve. And we also want to say, okay, we have a lot of technology, a lot of development that was created when the men went to the moon. So imagine the technology that you're going to have in your own hands when the people, women and men also, are going to Mars. So of course, this is something very important, and something that people is not aware of, that in Mars, most of the chemical composition of the atmosphere is CO2. And that is our main issue in this moment. So it is probably, it's a high probability that most of the solutions that we need to implement on Mars, we are going to have it also here on Earth, and it's not a waste of time. It's something that we need to do, and this is the next step. More than if we are not a colony, interplanetary colony, I think that most of the solution that we are going to fine going to other planets, not only Mars, but also to the asteroids, moon, and other type of the object. We are going to have a lot of technology, and probably our life that we have now is going to change a lot after we go to Mars. So that is our main goal. We have been doing a lot of education, and now we are going finally to Patreon. We are very independent. We have the support of the people. Mainly, we don't work with the universities or other institutions because it's very difficult because of the laws, the Chilean laws. So we have been working mainly independent and with the support of the people. And now we are going to grow a lot with Patreon, doing content not only in Spanish, but also in English, and not only articles and Instagram posts, but we are also going to have interviews and other type of content that allowed us to have more, to increase our network around the world. So we are very excited about that. Thank you.
Yes, wonderful, Priscilla. It's very important, these links with science and technology. Also, I'm an environmental professor about environmental management. Also, I have class tonight. And also, it's very interesting when I can listen someone talking about these links between space environmental studies. And congratulations. Also, okay, I'd like to invite Eleanor to talk a little more about I believe it's very important, the presence of Alan and also Eleanor here to invite everyone to the jazz event. Okay, also I'd like to register the presence of Michael Lurie, also a friend from Jamesburg, and also Rosangela from Brazil as a partner working with Michael Lurie. Thanks for the audience today. And okay, Eleanor, you are welcome.
Thank you, Julio. So just I wanted to say, Priscilla, it's so fantastic what you're doing. So really congratulations on this. This is so impressive what you're doing, really. I look forward to reading that book also, although my Spanish is really bad, but I can always learn. So looking forward to that. Yeah, CHASM. So basically, why are we doing CHASM? It's the Conference on Human Analog Space Missions. For the moment, it's only for crews or people who actually took part in analog space missions. The reason for this is, firstly, it's the first edition, right? So we don't really have a massive budget. We're trying to keep it extremely cheap so that everyone can come or can like at least have a chance of coming if they're not too far. But also we wanted people to get to know each other. It's not a conference which is supposed to be extremely high level of expertise. The main goal is for analog space crews and members to get to know each other again, because we want to foster this collaboration on Earth. 2 years ago, so I'm an analog astronaut. I was an analog astronaut for Habitat Marte. I was an analog astronaut for Astrobiology and the commander of the first edition. It's a whole student-led analog space mission. I was supposed to be a commander for ICE, or the old Chill Ice, which is a part of Euromoonmars, now separated. So I've seen those different kinds of space missions, and the main thing that I realized, and it was massively the case 2 years ago, and it still is now, is that we don't really know what's going on. We don't have a massive platform that tells you where the research is. We don't communicate that well between analog space missions, which means that you might have a station that's doing exactly what you're doing 1,000 kilometers away, and you could use the results of your research to, you know, like have something that's not redundant, but actually say, oh, well, you guys do part 1 and we do part 2, and then we just compare results. We could really just talk to each other and say, well, okay, well, this analog space mission is more for students, and this one is more for maybe Martian environment, or this one is more for lunar environment. this one is focusing on habitats, this one is focusing on spacesuits, but instead we all each in our little corners and we don't really talk, and some of them, the information is actually not there. So when I was actually researching for speakers, it was sometimes extremely hard, or I would only see at the last moment that actually, look, there's a station in Turkey. Like I found one last week in Turkey, but I don't speak Turkish. And there's not enough information on the website to actually be able to say, well, you know, what are they doing? And it's quite sad, because I think if we really join forces and talk together, then we'd be able to do much more progress, much quicker. And it doesn't mean that you have to, you know, make a uniform kind of analog space mission. Every analog space mission is particular in its way. For example, you don't have the same challenges in Brazil as you have maybe in the UK, as you have maybe in the desert, as you have maybe in Exomars, so in the Canadian Arctic. Obviously, it's not the same kind of habitats, it's not the same kind of people working there. Like, you know, maybe you have more students in one case and the other one is more maybe professional, younger, older, whatever it is. So you don't have always the same kind of situation, but communication should be key. And CHASM, the goal is exactly this. So we'll be quite a small group. It'll be like about 35 people coming on Saturday and Sunday to Cambridge, because that's where I'm doing a PhD right now. So it was easier for me to just get people to come there, get the venue. Also, Cambridge is kind of a nice city, so I thought, well, you know, people know London, but they sometimes want to know Cambridge. Easy, let's get everyone there. And each space mission will get to present the missions. Some of them have never applied to me, so we won't hear from them. But others, for example, Julio will be giving a talk sadly from Zoom, but still better than nothing. So they'll be able to talk and give a bit more details than just like a 5-minute presentation, right? They got 40 minutes to really talk about what they're doing. And then we have workshops, and during those workshops, this is where we really exchange and say, well, look, we focus on the spacesuits because of this is what we had to budget, but what we're missing is intel on this. And other people will maybe discuss habitats and say, well, we focus on this habitats and we had this budget and we invested in this and we did get some very conclusive results. On the Sunday afternoon, because one of the other problems about analog space missions is that although it could be for the wider public, people don't know what they are. I mean, literally, when I was an analog astronaut, I had journalists publishing that I was an astronaut everywhere. I mean, I would love to be, but I'm not technically. And people would just confuse the term because they have no idea what analog space missions are, because it's still quite new in a way, and we don't talk enough about it. So on the Sunday afternoon, we have an open day session where people from the wider public can come and discuss with crews, and they can register for space missions if they want, or at least apply to them. Obviously, some of them have a selection process, but they will get to see what it really is about. And what we're really super happy about is that we get the support from obviously Mars Society UK, we co-organized this, but Mars Society as a whole. We had lots of help from Mike Kirstoltz. We're super happy to have obviously Shannon Rupert coming, Julio coming. We have people from Euromonmas, Astrobiology, High Seas, Vomas, Lunaris, Analog Astronaut Training Center. It's like really, really cool. And also we are supported by the British Interplanetary Society. So they have 2 newspapers. One is the British Interplanetary Society Journal, and the other one is BIS Spaceflight. And we will get a special edition of the British Interplanetary Society Journal where analog research can be actually published. So it means that there will be an entire journal just with research from analog space missions, and we'll have a mention in the other newspaper. What is really important about this is that even people who are keen on space sometimes don't know what analog space missions are. They know it only for actual astronauts. So obviously they know about NEMO, so for ESA, or for NASA, but they don't know that you can do this without actually being an astronaut. Like you could have not the same health capabilities, but you could still actually provide very valuable data. So having our research published in BIS is really cool. Also, we get a Soyuz docking simulator, which is not, it's not necessary for an analog space mission, but it's really cool. And hopefully we get the whole public really motivated. If you want to listen in, all sessions will be normally recorded unless there's a problem, but we'll be recording them and we'll put them on YouTube so that the wider public can access them. And, if you're also doing an analog space mission, then you can just tune in and compare. And also the newspaper will be made available. We send you a link so that you can, access it.
Wonderful, Eleanor. Also very good achievements from Chile and United Kingdom. Also, I'd like to do also at this moment, I'd like to share two announcements from Brazil. Also, just a moment. Okay, this is the invitation for the event today. Okay, something that we are releasing today. Also, in the first hours of today, we launched in Eventbrite the invitation for the Space Habitat event. This is the third edition. Also in both previous editions was an activity from Mass Society Brazil, and also we prepared it in like a abstract book presenting all the abstracts, also sharing the links for the videos or from the presentations. After I can share how was this book that we prepared with the abstracts, and today we are launching the invitation and also releasing the call for papers. It's a abstracts of 300 words, and also these are the topics. Topics applies to space habitats. Also the field is about space sustainability. In this case, the topics are the space education, management, food production, energy, sustainability, sanitation and recycling, communication, health and psychology. Also propulsion systems, launching and landing of vehicles on Mars and Moon, art and design applied to space habitats and engineering challenges. Also, I will be sharing to James after our meeting later. Also to Priscilla and also Alan and Eleanor, to everyone. The details about the submission. In this case, in this edition, for the first time, we will have. Last year we have presentations in Portuguese and English. In this year, for the first time, also we have like a panels with Spanish communication. Okay, for the people from Latin America to present the papers and studies in Spanish. Okay, and this is one of the first things that I'd like to share. And also the other topic, also we are launching a crowdfunding campaign for Habitat Marte. We know that's a little challenging for us, but I believe you also today is also will be open during more than 90 days. Also, we are trying to find some possible donors for these to keep our activities, because with the inscriptions for the events, not easy. We identified there's also personal resource is not enough to to keep the activities running, and if we identify some financial support will be very important for the economic sustainability of Habitat Marte. Also, we are doing very constant improvements in the facilities. Okay. Yes, these are some informations that I would like to bring to all, and also I'd like to give a word to Aníbal, also co-founder. Hello, Aníbal. If you'd like to say some words to our audience, you are welcome.
Good afternoon to everyone. It's a pleasure for me to stay here with you, celebrating our third anniversary. And I hope that we will be together for a long time and see you on Mars. Thank you.
Yes, you know that some partnerships and some achievements is not easy. It's not like a short time. You know that you need to develop a long-term planning about how to we would have this economic sustainability to our actions. And I believe this moment is important to present some communications like this to this group. Okay. Also, we have some. Also, we have Michael Lowry. If Michael would like to do some communications too, you are welcome.
Hi, thank you, Leo. Thanks a lot for the introduction. For those who don't know me, I chair the exhibits committee for the organization. We're a Texas-based 401c3 that was founded in 2006. We built our first exhibits in the virtual world of Second Life. We still have facilities there exhibiting all the world's rockets throughout the history of spaceflight there. We've duplicated the similar exhibits in OpenSim, which is an open source version of Second Life. And in the past couple of years, we've been expanding beyond just exhibiting rockets and spacecraft and so forth. And we're building a large virtual analog astronaut training facility that you see a small part of it behind me here in OpenSim, that we're building to enable people to at least dip their toe in the water, so to speak, of what it's like to train to become a Mars colonist. So, based upon, all our facilities had a lot of issues and they wound up having to do virtual training, we decided that this was something that we could do to contribute to the movement, particularly given, future plans by organizations like SpaceX to have up to 1 million people migrate to Mars within the next several decades. That's a lot of throughput that the real world analog astronaut training facilities aren't yet built to cope with, but we can provide the ability for many millions of people globally to learn at least the introductory stuff, but at least they can learn everything from not just the experience of going through from the transit to arrival to the whole process, but even learning to operate equipment, learning to deal with malfunctions, troubleshooting, repair. We can code all of this into virtual copies of the actual equipment that we use, whether it's scientific instruments, whether it's ISRU equipment, that sort of thing. And so by creating this virtual, we find a lot of that and allow people, number one, who may not wind up being colonists but want to learn more about it, can have this experience so they can appreciate more what's going on with Mars exploration and eventualization. But people who want, let's say a junior league, sort of like a feeder program into the real world analog astronaut training program, so that people can arrive at those facilities up to speed and trained in knowledge that when they're fully trained astronaut arriving on Mars who doesn't go up there not knowing anything. They have a whole lot of preparation and training beforehand. And so we want to provide that kind of virtual training for people that would feed into analog astronaut training programs.
Okay, thanks so much, Michael, for your words. Also, I mentioned I'd like to share the abstract book from the previous Space Habitat event. It's also we had this is a 6-7 page abstract book. And this is only also abstracts in English. We have also other abstract book with abstracts in Portuguese, okay? Just to share some activity that we did last year. Also, there is a QR code that where it's possible to load the video in YouTube, and each presentation is shared in our YouTube channel. Okay. Also, we have a scientific committee. Also, if part of this group have interest to be one of the members of the scientific committee, you are welcome. Okay, you can send me a message. Also, everyone here is invited to be one of the members of this committee. Okay, and thanks. Also, yes, I believe also if Rosangela and Mateus have some words, you are welcome to. Okay, Mateus.
Hello, good afternoon, everybody. In the first place, I would like to say thank you, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to stay here with all of you. I confess, for me as a student, I studied information technology in Brazil, and my university is called EFB. And for us is very pleasure to contribute and share the values, the vision, and all the great opportunity you guys are coming to share, right, with everybody. So my English is not perfect, so I'm trying. But the thing I want to say is I would like to be a volunteer to expand all the mission. We are not talking only about Mars, but behind the amazing scene and all the great opportunities it can bring to all the world. We are talking about redesign the future, the next generations, the human potential, and we would like to share the social media to, I don't know, to attract more people, more students, more academics, more professionals. And for me, it's a great honor to stay here today, uh, especially because the master Julio Rezende brought to Brazil, to my city, Brasilia, the all the us students in an amazing event called Campus Party. It's one of the biggest events in the Latin America. So thank you so much and have a beautiful day, everybody.
Okay, I have some problems with my internet now. Yes, thanks so much, Mateus, for your words. And Rosangela, we have something to say. She's not.
Hello all, congratulations, Julio. I am happy to be here to celebrate the third anniversary or birthday of Mars Society of Brazil. I would like to thank you for contribution at the International Space Flight Museum, helping us to build it. And I would like to invite you all to come and know what Mike Lowry is doing and us with ISM in Keitel Grid, okay? It's amazing. Hope you can come. And congratulations you all and long life, happy life of Mars Society Brazil.
Thanks so much,
Thank you.
Rosangela. Okay, I believe everybody have some words here. Also, I will let the last word for James' work to maybe we can go in the path to conclude this conversation. James, I give you the last moment to conclude the meeting today. Okay.
Sure. Well, thanks everyone for joining this event today, and we'll see you on Mars.
See you on Mars. Yes. And good soul to everyone. Okay, good soul. And we keep our conversation by email or WhatsApp. Okay. And also I keep my invitation to our scientific board, scientific committee for Space Habitat event. Okay. And thanks so much. And please help to share some very important events that we are having, like in the next weeks. Okay, also in the second semester we have the Mars Society Convention. It's very important event. It's amazing event. Also, sometimes we have the opportunity to see like the Elon Musk and all the important speakers. And thanks so much, James, for your opening. And you keep our conversation, okay? And thanks so much. Have a good day.
Thank you, Julio. Well
Thank
hosted,
you.
Julio.
Bye. See you
Happy
later.
birthday. Take care, everyone.
Happy
Thank
birthday,
you.
everyone.
Bye, thank
I-
I
you.
won't forget it.
I've put my email address in the chat, and I'd like to invite everybody that we have, because we have operational facilities, and if you want to do a bit more virtual of a virtual meeting, you're more than welcome to utilize our facilities. It's the kitely.com grid for it's on the OpenSim hypergrid. We can provide facilities for having these meetings in a Martian environment. So you're all welcome to participate. Thank you.
Okay,
Right.
okay, wonderful. And bye-bye.
Bye,
Thanks,
thank you.
Julio.
See
Thanks.
you.
Thanks, Eleanor and James, everyone.